Found it.
Awesome.
It's Friday, you guys. Welcome back to the Fumble Live, and thank you so much for tuning in to our final show of the week. We, of course, have to talk about the NFL draft and everything that happened last night. We're also getting into some updates about Aaron Rodgers. But before we dive into all this news, make sure you subscribe to our channel, tap the bell for notifications, give this video a thumbs up, and leave a comment below. Here's the Fumble Squad. I'm Devin Howard. You can find me on Instagram as @DevinHoward.
Happy Friday, everybody. I'm Jackie Ray. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at JRayTheFanatic.
Now, before we start talking all things NFL draft, Jackie, what do you have planned for the weekend? Anything fun coming up, or are you just going to be focusing all on getting your move out of the way?
Yep, just packing. Gonna start. I have a few things to do for the Fumble after we get off, and then after that, packing away.
Oh, gosh, I do not envy you. I hate having to pack. It's the worst thing in the world.
It really is.
But the one positive about packing is that you can start kind of like pruning through all of your belongings and realizing like, oh, I haven't used this in a year. I'm going to get rid of that. So that is the one good thing. I feel like you end up kind of purging a lot of the stuff that you just don't really need.
Right, absolutely.
All right, well, let's just jump in with some NFL draft news. So, Jackie, I kind of just want to have a conversation about it. Who do you think were the winners, the losers of the draft? General thoughts about the season. I have my own thoughts, but is there anything that you'd like to start off with that you thought was particularly interesting or exciting?
Well, first of all, off top, I love the fact that I heard the boos for Roger Goodell live. You know, that's, even though at this point I don't think Roger deserves all those boos, it is a staple, and I kind of miss those being live. I loved he had his little chair, his recliner chair that he had in his basement last season. It was there. It just seemed like we were getting back to normal. I love seeing the fans there because it's so weird. It was only one season that we were without that, but it feels like an eternity right now. So definitely love that. I was very, very much surprised that the Broncos did not get the pick that I thought that they were going to get. They ended up getting, who did they get? Patrick Surlton or something like that. And so I was like, oh, okay. I just knew that they were going to get who the 49ers ended up picking, which was Trey Lance. So I was a little surprised that the 49ers went with Trey Lance, but that just proved what I said. And Mac Jones, it's his mama. I'm telling you, for him to fall so late in the draft, it's definitely his mama. There's no way that he falls that late in the draft if his mama wasn't out there running her mouth a little too much. But other than that, I was just really excited to see the draft. The only thing, you know, especially since my Saints were drafting so late, the draft started at 5 p.m. here in LA, and it was 8:30 before we were even on the clock. I can't. We need to figure out a better way. That was too much for me. I was like, this is too much.
Yeah, it is a lot. It is a lot, Jackie. Okay, first, we obviously have to talk about Trevor Lawrence. He went to the Jaguars, which everyone saw coming. There was really no question that that was going to happen. But like you mentioned, Trey Lance going to the 49ers was a little bit of a surprise, but I think that it's going to be a good move for the 49ers, and I think it's a win-win situation for both of them because Trey's now going into this playoff-ready roster in California, really an unbeatable place for him to live. And I think that, you know, I feel like it's just going to be a good pairing over there. But we do have to talk about the loser in that situation, my boyfriend, future husband, love of my life, Jimmy Garoppolo. This kind of leaves him at a bit of a loss here because the 49ers can talk all they want about having him stick around with Trey Lance, but if a real offer were to come in, I feel like they would definitely entertain it and they would look at it. And then that kind of, if you look at the market that's surrounding Jimmy G and the places where he could potentially go, it's kind of dried up because like you mentioned, the Broncos, we talked about Teddy Bridgewater yesterday. We have the Patriots, who now spent their number 15 pick at Mac Jones, like you mentioned. The Bears moved up for Justin Fields. So it's kind of like he's bound to stay in San Francisco because the opportunities out there are, you know, a little bit limited for him. What do you think about Jimmy G's future with the team?
I mean, he's going to have to suck it up for at least a season and just to see how things play out. You can't go anywhere right now because right now everyone's got who they want. I literally did think, like you said, the Broncos maybe, because I do think that Teddy Bridgewater is a better quarterback than Drew Lock. So maybe if they aren't sold on Teddy Bridgewater, then he could end up in Denver. But that's still a season away. He's got to go through this whole entire season and kind of just get through it. And the unfortunate thing for him is he's gonna have to suck it up and really get out there and play well to make sure that people even look his way. Because the fact of the matter is, staying healthy is a problem for him, and nobody wants to. As much as you believe in a guy, you have to wonder, okay, if I get him, and then what? He's gonna play a couple games for me, and then he's hurt. So he's really got to have a solid season where he plays the entire season very, very well. So then once again, we're talking about Jimmy G like we used to. We don't really talk about him like that anymore. You might, because he's your dude and all, but the rest of us, we don't really talk about him like that anymore because we just don't have enough tape on him. There's not enough tape to really prove his case right now. So he's got to suck it up and act like he really wants to be there. He's got to be enthusiastic, professional, and play his ass off if he really wants to move someplace next season.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm with you. As much as I love him, like, I can recognize the situation for what it is. Let's talk about the Bears. How do you feel about them walking away with Justin Fields?
I'm going to get into that a little bit more and what we're not going to do, but the Bears are the Bears. They make decisions sometimes that, unnerve me in a way, but I'm not mad at Justin Fields. I think is great as well. I don't think there was actually a bad quarterback in this draft. And this first round draft picks, they're deep. There's talent for sure. I disagree with some of the picks. Like I highly disagree with the Saints first pick, but that's another story. But this is one of those things where you just have to see what Chicago's going to do because, like I said, we're going to talk about this a little bit more and what we're not going to do. So I don't want to give it all away, but it's a good pick. What it means specifically for that franchise, it remains to be seen because, and this is something I've said time and time again, if you have a great quarterback, but you don't build around him, you don't make sure he has time in the pocket, you don't give him the weapons that he needs, it's for naught, so it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out with Andy Dalton and the Bears and this pick. So again, I'll get more into that and what we're not going to do, but it's interesting. I will say this real quick though. I know somebody asked me what I thought about the Saints pick. I was very upset about that. I was first of all, I waited 3 hours for it, right? And then we desperately need a cornerback, and we picked Peyton Turner. I'm not mad at Peyton Turner. I'm not, but I had Eric Stokes coming to us, and I was like, why? Because we need a corner so bad. And then boom, we go with Peyton, and then right after that, Green Bay gets him. So they got the cornerback. I was really upset about that. And to be honest, I was done watching it after that. I was like, I've been here 3 hours on my uncomfortable couch because I got all this stuff on it, boxes and stuff, and I'm packing. And it's like, 3 hours I sat here for this. I was a little annoyed by that.
There was somebody in the chat who mentioned, Christian Brito says, I was surprised Devonta Smith got picked so late. So he's actually joining Jalen Hurts in Philly, their former team, Alabama teammates. So how do you feel about that move?
I wasn't surprised he got picked so late because that is the thing. People say all the time, this is the best draft class. And I don't think it's the best draft class. I understand why people say that, but it is the most talented. The level of talent is very, very deep. So there were so many people to pick from and so many people to choose from that I'm not surprised that he went late. Because again, a lot of teams had a lot of needs. So they just had to decide which need is the most important to go to first. And even though he says, it's football, it's not bodybuilding, I do wonder a little bit if his size played into that a little bit, especially when he's open about the fact that he doesn't want to bulk up. So I do wonder if that played into it a little bit because a lot of teams are going to want you to bulk up, like somebody said in the chat yesterday, because if you go across the middle and you little, that's going to hurt you a little more if you don't have any weight to you. So I definitely I'm not mad at him going as late as he did, but I do wonder if him saying just outright that he didn't want to bulk up a little bit played into that at all. And those are those things we'll just never know. We just never know what teams are thinking.
Right. Let's and then really quickly before we jump into some an Aaron Rodgers update for you guys, let's just talk about some of the losers. I was seeing a lot of buzz online about the Giants. So they got a future first round pick and other picks, which I think is great, but they used their 20th pick to get Kadarius Toney, and a lot of people felt that that was just kind of like a meh decision, like a pointless decision is the best way that I could put it. But what do you think about that?
But Kadarius Toney's not bad. He's a good wide receiver. So again, it's one of those things where the Giants have a lot of needs. So you now have to wonder, like, okay, what is our most important thing to go for? Again, I don't know if I would have gone with a wide receiver first when you have to build, because it almost doesn't matter who you have downfield if you don't have a quarterback that you trust to get it there, or if you don't have the line that's going to protect that quarterback. So I do understand saying, hey, maybe that's not the first pick. Maybe you build in the areas that you are lacking first. But he's not a bad wide receiver. So, I mean, it could play out for him. But again, it's one of those things where, especially when you're the Giants and you have so many needs, which one do you go to first? What's the plan? So right. Again, it's one of those. This is a team like the Giants or the Jets or the Jags. Like, y'all could literally just have a whole round just for you, just to get your roster right, So when you have holes like that in your team, it's just, who do you go for? I get what people are saying, because I wouldn't have gone with the wide receiver first, because I think a wide receiver at that point, everything else on your squad is ready to go. When you go and you get that wide receiver, that's the one piece you're missing. But when you have a bunch of pieces missing, in my head, I don't get the wide receiver first. But he's not trash. He's not a bad wide receiver at all.
Right.
Nobody in this first about that. Nobody in this first round is trash. Everybody in this first round is talented. So there wasn't a bad pick made. It's just now the reasoning becomes, is this the pick that's more beneficial for your team? And I get that. I don't know if this was the most beneficial for the Giants.
Right. I think that that's what most people were feeling online, that it was just kind of like, there's a lot of areas where they could have focused on, and that was maybe not necessarily the best decision, but it wasn't a bad decision at the same time, because like you said, this draft class is filled with a lot of talent. I think more talent than we've seen in recent years. But let's talk about Aaron Rodgers a little bit, because he is apparently very, very disgruntled with the Green Bay Packers, and he's even told some members of the organization that he doesn't want to return to the team. The NFL Network reported on Thursday that the 49ers had actually reached out to the Packers about Aaron Rodgers, but there was no formal offer that was made. A source said, quote, there is a, quote, 0% chance Green Bay deals Rodgers. The Packers did tell him that they were going to trade him this offseason, but then they backed off, and he informed them within the last week, according to a source, that he wouldn't return regardless of whether he gets dealt. Is there anything that the Green Bay Packers can do to save this relationship? Should they even attempt to save it at this point? What is your take?
Well, if you ask Green Bay fans, the first thing that they did, because for those of you who watched the draft and you saw the Green Bay fans there, they were over the moon when Green Bay did not draft a quarterback, because I think for Green Bay fans, they felt that, oh, this is just going to make things worse for Aaron Rodgers. I do want to backtrack for 1 second, though, and say Aaron Rodgers' level of petty I admire so much, because for him to come out with this right before the draft, knowing that this is what we were going to be talking about all through the draft, is so, I love this level of petty in him. The timing of this was flawless, and I applaud him for that. But here's the thing. Aaron Rodgers is that guy. He can sit down and not have to worry about a scandal popping up about him like Deshaun Watson did. He can sit down and say, you know what, I'm going to sit this one out, and there's nothing you can do about it, because everyone's going to be clamoring, because the narrative is right. There's no way in theory that Green Bay will deal him out. No way in theory. But at the end of the day, you need to, because there's nothing you want more than a disgruntled quarterback, because even if he's not on your sidelines, even if he's willing to sit out, guess what we're talking about the whole time? And don't start losing without him, because then it's going to be, they should have dealt him out, try to get somebody in there who wants to be in there. And you just said there was talk between Green Bay and the 49ers. The season hasn't started. We can still make this happen, and Jimmy G obviously feels some type of way about where he's at. Aaron feels some type of way about where he's at. It just seems, a no-brainer to switch them out. So this is one of those things where Aaron Rodgers is flawless timing. You know what, Aaron, if you're watching this, you get the Petty for the Day award, and I applaud you for it. But the timing of this was perfect, and it just shows how resolved he is in what he says. You don't release this information right before the draft if you don't want everybody to know you mean what you say and you're not going to play. So the whole narrative of Green Bay will never deal him out. They don't have to. Contractually, no, they don't have to. But I still don't understand that mindset. Like, what does it benefit you to have somebody on your squad who does not want to be there? There's no upside to that. There's zero upside to that. So I think Green Bay needs to come to some sort of way to dissolve this and send Aaron someplace he wants to go. I'm sure he would love going to San Francisco. So he definitely needs to figure out a way to I mean, because there's no upside to having a pissed off Aaron Rodgers. Definitely not a pissed off Aaron Rodgers on the sideline, sitting on the sideline, because we know he can make them faces where he's just sitting there with his arms folded, looking mad. And now the camera's zoomed in. First, let's watch a play. Let's zoom in on Aaron Rodgers. Watch a play. Zoom in on. That's not what you want. You just don't want that. So it's either that or him just sitting out and he's not there, and then all you're talking about is the fact that he's not there. There's no win to this. They need to figure out a way to resolve it.
They really do. And if they do decide to hang on to him, which it obviously sounds like they are, what do you even think the motivation would be behind that? Do you think that there's really anything that they could do to change the course of his relationship with the franchise, or is it just completely done and over now?
No, they had an opportunity to change the course of this relationship when they drafted that quarterback. The second that happened, you needed to know that this relationship was coming to an end and you should have planned for it. And if you didn't plan for it, that's your fault. But you don't slap a legend like Aaron Rodgers in the face by saying we're going to draft this quarterback, because that just says you are ready to move on. Okay, you said what you said. I said what I said. Move on then. There's no way. If they wanted to repair this relationship, they shouldn't have done that. And now they have to figure out a way to make this right. But there's no repairing it once you do that.
Right. And then I know you kind of touched on the 49ers a little bit because there was that conversation that was had between the two teams, but no offer was made. Do you think that could be a good landing spot for him? Do you think he'd be able to fit in well with the culture of the 49ers if that magically went through?
Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. He can fit in wherever. This man's football knowledge and his ability to do what he does works wherever. But at that point, conversations would be had. I'm sure Aaron Rodgers knows what he needs to be successful. So if there's things there that he sees that might not work, he'll be vocal. You have to make those changes. But Aaron Rodgers is the guy that you go after no matter who. There's 31 teams in the NFL who would love to have, well, besides Tampa Bay, they probably don't care. But 30 teams in the NFL who would love to have Aaron Rodgers on their squad if they decide if they can part ways with Green Bay. So if he can get in San Francisco, that's great. Off top again, and I know I keep coming back to it, if I wasn't so hung up on Jameis, and even at that case, let's move Taysom to where he's supposed to be as a tight end. Let Jameis back up Aaron Rodgers. Send him to New Orleans. Get Drew Lock out of Denver. Send him to Denver. You can send him anywhere, but if San Francisco was the talks that originally had, I would guess that's because that's something that Aaron wants. And at this point in his career, give that man what he wants. This man has worked too hard to not be getting what he wants. Give that man what he wants.
Yeah, I'm with you. Well, that wraps up the newsy updates for the NFL draft, but I know Jackie has a lot in store for us in the post-up, different moments and, clips from what we all saw last night. So let's get right into the post-up, Jackie.
Yes, let's get into it. The draft was fun, until we hit that 3-hour mark. And then I was like, man, all right, but let's get into it, because you guys know Jaylen Waddle went 6th overall to the Dolphins. And I'm going to say off top, I am not a fan. I don't like this man because the way he treated his family when they called his name, like he's all, ooh, I don't like him. I don't like him. Take a look at why.
You see the fans like it. The Dolphin fans like it. And I'm going to give them a reason.
He's like, swerve.
His mama's in there. His mama is in there, y'all. I cannot. I don't like this man. I don't. And, Twitter was all over it as well. They had so much to say about it. Let me get this first tweet up there. It says, if ain't none of y'all getting S was a person. basically that's what he said. Like, ooh, don't mess with me now. Y'all was then. This is now. I'm going over here. Oh, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I think I have one more tweet about this, and he says, when they say don't forget about me once you make it. Oh, you already forgotten, fam. You already forgotten. This is the worst. I do not like him. Devin, when you saw this, what did you think?
Okay, so my initial reaction was just like yours, Jackie. I was like, damn, that is so harsh. He straight up ignored his family. That would be very hard for me to do. But I also imagine that he was probably sitting there filled up to his eyebrows with nervous energy, and he maybe just had tunnel vision on like where he was supposed to go and what he was supposed to do, that he just didn't even notice what was happening around him. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he was just hyper focused on like, you know, just the moment itself and didn't, you know, because sometimes that happens. Like if you're just like so overwhelmed and there's so much going on, you don't even think about what's happening around you. But this hurt my heart watching it.
Yes. His mama is in there. I saw that on Twitter too. People said he celebrated already. No. Here's the thing, and it's a weird dynamic. I know one guy that was drafted to the NFL, and I was there when it happened, and we knew he was going to get drafted. But everybody knew he was going to get drafted, but that moment it actually happens is different than when you get that phone call that says, okay, you know, we're definitely going to draft you. It's totally different than the moment they actually call your name. Oh, Kobe fan Empire, thank you for the $4.99. We love Kobe too, and definitely rest in peace. But it's totally different. And when you are in that moment, the first people you want to thank are the people who have been there for you through the ups and the downs. And at least your mama, at least give your mama a hug. I don't know. I'm not buying that whole we celebrated already. No, it's totally different. But let's get into this next one, because this next one is hilarious to me, because Mac Jones, first of all, he deserved every piece of this, because this little sad face that he had when he dropped, because he just knew. Look, I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but this is his face when the 12th pick was called and he still wasn't drafted. He's slouching all down in the chair. The hard part, it's the hard part in the hair for me that cracks me up. The hard parts always crack me up. That's weird to me, but he looks so sad. And then when the Patriots finally called his name, now we going from, okay, I don't care about my family, no enthusiasm, walk out, to way too eager beaver. But watch his walk to get when his name was called.
I'll finish this.
None of y'all. Like, that's exactly what I hear him saying in his head. Oh my God, this had me dying, and Twitter was dying as well. People were just calling him out. He said he wanted to get there before the Patriots changed their mind. That's kind of what that walk looked like. There's another tweet in there that said he was basically, you know, nah, he had that y'all think I can't ball, but the best head coach ever could pick me fast enough because I fell to the 15th pick. I'm going to make 12 GMs and coaches look dumb. I get McDaniels, and to watch Killer Cam show me the ropes. See you at the Super Bowl. Sharpish. Okay, I don't know about that, but I will say I've never posted. But me and our producer were talking about this. I said, Mac Jones walking like someone stole money from him. And she said, he walks like he has big hips, like a high school. And I tell you, I was dead for about 15 minutes after I got this response. I was dead. But yes, poor Mac Jones. Devin, that walk.
He looks like, I wrote it in chat, he's a man on a mission. He definitely looked like it was just like, let's go. Very, very intense, very, very focused, fast. You know, he's hustling.
He reminded me of when my best friend when I was little, her name was Tamisha, and anytime we would be out playing and then her mom would be like, Tamisha, it's time to come home. And we'd be in the middle of a game, she would walk like that home. She'd be mad, like, man, I'm out here playing, doing my thing. You making me come home now. This is the same walk. It's the same walk.
That's so funny.
This is great. Now that I actually loved. But this next one also does bother me because, so Zach Wilson, he's going on my list of players I'm not looking forward to at all, because this moment in time says more about who he is as a person versus anything else. Because how are you going to look this terrified standing amongst your black teammates, your black brothers in arms, right? Like how is this a thing? But take a look at this and tell me what you think in the chat.
Way to hire. Bell Draft
Oh my God.
Is presented by SIP Recruiter,
His face looks like, I hope they don't know my parents stormed the castle. You know, like that's what his face looked like to me. Like, yeah, I hope you don't know that we are all lives matter over here. Do they know we all lives matter over here? Like his whole face was just not it for me. And of course, Twitter said it as well. So this person says his whole vibe just screams awkward, racist, shelter, white punk. Let's see him win over the locker room in New York. This isn't Utah. You got to be built differently to play in some cities. So that's the thing, you know, the locker rooms are predominantly black, and we talk. I don't know. We saw this, my guy, and this was just weird to me. But then this next tweet, also very weird to me. A black guy. So there was one tweet that said, you know, oh, they were throwing up gang signs, which they weren't. They were just posing for the camera, but it was said as a joke, you know, with the laughing emoji. It was a joke. But then this black guy chimes in and he says, I don't blame him. Ridiculous. Shaking my head. At least we know who's going to be on the police blotter soon. Geez, black community, do better. What in the coontastic hell is happening here? I don't understand it. I don't understand a black man looking at a white man acting like this around other black men and being like, yeah, I don't blame him. They're just thugs and criminals. Are you kidding me right now? Everything about this is wrong to me. I'm with you, Aiden. I'm with you on that Utah comment, but Devin, what? Explain the fear. How does this fear make sense? That was straight fear.
It was straight fear and straight discomfort. It was very, very awkward and weird to watch that. I can't explain it. I mean, I grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood, but I also had a black uncle, so I feel like for me it was just like I didn't even think about it like that. Like it was like people look different, but I guess maybe in Utah where it is just like straight Mormons and men with their 40 different wives, his experience is probably even a lot more like sheltered than mine was. So I don't know. I can't explain it, but he needs to get used to it.
Yeah, or get used to some hands, because that's definitely not gonna fly in New York. I can tell you that right now. But good luck, my guy. Good luck. But let's go on to this next one, because Micah Parsons, the linebacker from Penn State, he went 12th overall to the Dallas Cowboys. So congratulations to you guys, because this guy is really, really good. He's quick off the line. He hits really hard. He's 244 pounds of quickness. And Zeke was like, "Oh no, I gotta practice with this guy. I don't like this." So he made a joke on Twitter about it, and he said, Micah Parsons, "Don't touch me in practice, Rook." And he said, "We'll see," which is funny to me, because Zeke is basically saying, hey, I seen your tape. I'm not here for that life in practice. Don't hit me hard like that. I don't like it. But Cowboy Nation, y'all need to relax, because when I tell you they came for this rookie and telling him, oh, you know, you shouldn't talk to Zeke. You haven't even earned the right to talk to Zeke. Like, stop it right now. Let me show you this Twitter. It said, dude, just shut up. You haven't earned the right to mess with Zeke, and I doubt you ever will. You've got a long way to go to win over most Cowboy fans. And people were like co-signing on this. I'm like, relax. It was a joke between two people, and Zeke had already mentioned this in a podcast earlier. I don't know if it was earlier in the week sometime. So I'm going to get to this tweet next, which basically talks about that. It says, or maybe it's related to the fact that Micah has done some extremely suspicious things to his friends. I don't know anything about that. I've never heard anything about that. But I'm glad this person chimed in and says, nope. It's because he talked to Zeke earlier this week and said he can't wait to tackle him in practice. And it was on the broadcast and came from Jane Slater. So, and then Zeke was like, no, don't hit me. It was all said in jest. This is like him welcoming the rookies. But Cowboy Nation, woo. I mean, I guess not going to the Super Bowl since 1996 got y'all all flustered. So calm down. But let's go to this next one. Because Kwity Paye, he went 21st overall to the Colts. And the Colts fans love this. They absolutely love this. They were cheering so loud at this moment, which I loved. And a lot of people loved this moment in time, too, where he was not going to walk out of there and not hug his mama. In fact, he was going to do her one better. Take a look.
What does it change for the prospect for your life and your family's life?
For my family, she's done work and she's retired.
I gotta talk to Mom. Agnes, obviously, Kwity told
I love that. And that's a beautiful moment in time. But I got to say, I kind of agreed with this next user because I'm like, oh, mama need to work for at least another 2 years. Because he says, my man is going to realize the hard way that NFL check doesn't go as far as he thinks. And then this person says, I don't know, man, kind of seems like a lot of money to me because the rookie minimum is $610,000. Maybe it's because I live in LA, but I'm like, $610,000 is not retirement money. That is we doing okay money. That's okay. Let's put a down payment on a house money. That's not retirement money. But still, the Bills fans love it. I think I have one more tweet. Yeah, so good for him. Smart man. On an unrelated note, told my mom the same thing after I got my stimulus check, realizing now I may have jumped the gun. But this is the equivalent to that to me. This is the equivalent of saying, Mom, you can retire off that stimulus check. This is not enough. Devin, am I but it don't seem like $610,000 is enough money to retire on. Even $1 million is not enough to retire on.
It's not. And I do think that we are jaded because we live in LA where the cost of living is so high. But I don't think that this is enough to be like, I'm taking care of me and also you don't have to work ever again. I think it's a nice gesture, but he should definitely wait a little bit before he actually encourages mom to retire. But it's a nice thought. And one thing that I do want to add is that he was adopted. So she adopted him. He was an orphan, which I also think is really sweet. Now he's kind of like giving back. But yeah, $610,000. It goes far. You're gonna live a comfortable life, but I don't think that's like mama can retire yet.
In LA, that probably means you don't have to work for 2.5 years, and then you got to start looking for a job. So that is not retirement money. So maybe yeah. But if you invest right, if you do your thing, but you can't be taking care of your whole village on $610,000. Not to say that that's what he's going to end up signing for, but you get what I'm saying. But a lot of good deeds were going around, and I love that because that's what it's all about, giving back and not forgetting where you came from, which JAYLEN's obviously going to forget that. He forgot that as soon as they called his name. But not forgetting where you came from is a big deal because that means you're able to give back. You're able to empathize. You know what I'm trying to say. I can't talk this morning. It's Friday, whatever. But Najee Harris is now the newest Steelers running back. And he and his mother at one point were homeless, which I didn't know until last night. So they were homeless, and he actually went and had his draft party at the shelter where they were once homeless and threw this big draft party for the kids. And I think it is so beautiful. Take a look.
Yeah. What did that mean to you? It was really emotional for my mom. Almost as if like she was crying in a way because, like I said, we have a lot of memories here. That was a time in our life when we was really low at a point. So it brought back a lot of memories of what we was going through at the time. For me too. When I walked over there where I used to play at, bring back a lot of memories when I was little, and just seeing the Richmond Pal across the street brings a lot of memories of me playing basketball there and meeting people there. But it was an emotional thing for us. So just doing this really makes me and my family feel a lot more better, and just giving appreciation to everything.
I think that's beautiful because sometimes I know when I have volunteered with shelters and things of that nature, one of the things I hear over and over again is like they just feel overlooked. They feel like people just kind of pass them by and feel like they're less than. And there are kids in that situation. And so I love that he took this moment in time to just basically not only not forget where he's from, but say it with a level of pride. Like, look, I came from here. It's great that he's going back there to show these kids, hey, I was here just like you when I was your age. This is something that you can overcome as well. It's just a beautiful thing. And of course, Twitter loved it as well. There was a lot of comments on it. It says, bro, I remember watching all his high school highlights. He was a monster, and I didn't know what happened to him after. But to see this now, I'm nothing but happy for him. Well deserved, Najee. I will be rooting for you no matter what. I'm definitely going to be rooting for him no matter what as well. I have another tweet where it says, never knew this about him. I was the same way. We learned so much about these kids in the draft because I think those of us who watch college football, we kind of just watch the game, but we don't know their story. But I'm with you on this one. Never knew this about him. It makes me admire him even more. Lesser people may try to deny their past. He celebrates his and leads by example. And that nailed it on the head with that one because I think it's so important to show kids that are in a similar situation that, hey, it doesn't matter. I know it's a tough start and I know it's hard to overcome, but you can work hard and you can get there too. It's such an important lesson and so proud of him for showing that. But let's move on to this next one because now we got to get to Tom Brady. Somehow, some way, we were going to make it to Tom Brady, right? But this is a great day for all these rookies. It's a day that they're always going to remember, and it's cemented in their history here too and forevermore. But Tom Brady wishes this day would just go away for him sometimes, because it recalls. I'm going to let you guys, if you post it in the chat before I show the picture, I'm going to be so proud of you. He says, "This is annual post Tom shirtless combine photo on Twitter day. My favorite." And it is, because I have in years past, I'm a reformed Tom Brady hater, but this is huh?
No, I just
What'd you
laughed.
But I used to post this photo every single year. Every single year they would draft a quarterback and say, "Oh, he has Tom Brady like talents." I'd be like, "Does he? Does he look like this without his shirt off?" I was such a hater. I'm reformed now. I am reformed. But this will forever live on. I might, even though I like Tom Brady now, I still might post this in the future. It's because it's just funny. It's hilarious to me. But I get you, Tom. I'll try not to post. I didn't post it this year. I think this is one of the first years I didn't post it. So hey, yay! Moving on.
Jackie, you're such a reformed Tom Brady fan. I love it. You didn't post the photo. I mean, this is like something everyone does it every year. It's like the best part. So, wow, Jackie, I have to say, I'm very impressed.
Yeah, I know. I know. It's weird not to love to hate him. It's something I actually used to love to do. I used to love to hate Tom Brady. Now I just love to love him. It's a weird feeling, but I like it, and I am going with it. So let's go on to this next one, because yes. So this one is hilarious to me, because let me just help me figure this out, because I don't necessarily understand this, because AD is from. He was born in Chicago. He went to college in Kentucky. So how he became this diehard Green Bay, not that I'm judging, I just don't know how the road, where the road went. But apparently he's a diehard Aaron Rodgers / Green Bay fan. And so Kyle Kuzma is very, very concerned about the fact that Aaron Rodgers says he doesn't want to be there anymore. And he says, "Yo, LeBron, can you call Anthony Davis and make sure he hasn't jumped off the cliff yet?" I had no idea. I had no idea he was that kind of diehard fan where you need to say, "Hey, check him out, make sure he doesn't jump off a cliff." But now we know. I love learning new things about my team, but he'll be all right. He got other things to worry about, like getting healthy and staying healthy and making sure that we can move on to the playoffs successfully. But Shannon Sharpe also had a little a clown about this Aaron Rodgers thing as well. And he basically, what he's saying is, since the Nets out here playing Thanos and they getting all the player infinity stones, maybe they'll get Aaron Rodgers. And says with Aaron Rodgers potentially leaving Green Bay, the Brooklyn Nets are in talks to add one more MVP to their roster. See, this is what happens. Now you just gonna get clowned like that. But that looks weird. Aaron Rodgers in a with the basketball, that does not look right. I don't like that picture at all. I'm just saying. Not a fan of that picture at all. All right, but now let's get to this next one, because this next one we probably warrants a conversation, because you guys know I'm a fan of all things King James, and I want you to know right now that has not changed. I'm a horror fan. I love all things horror. When I go and search movies, I search horror or sci-fi. Those are the only two types of movies I always watch. Freddy, Jason, and Michael Myers are my favorites. And it didn't even dawn on me until LeBron got this tattoo that they are, in fact, the big three. Look at this. I love this tattoo. The only question I have, who's in the knife? There's obviously a reflection in the knife. Is that Michael before he went crazy? Who's in the knife?
I can't tell who's in the knife, but it looks like a woman, doesn't it?
Oh, no, it's Michael Myers' sister. That's who it is. Sister. Okay. Thank you, girl, because I had no idea. I was like, who is in the damn knife? I love this photo. If you hadn't said it was a woman, I never would have figured that out. I would have been stuck. Like, who is that in the knife? It was all that. But I went to this to see. I thought people were going to be clowning him about this tattoo because they didn't really get it. But me too, John. Michael Myers is my favorite too because he's just a G. His walk is everything. But let me tell you, nobody cared nothing about this tattoo on this thread Every tweet was like this. He says, you think you can come back? No rush, but could you hurry up? And look at the sad face, the pathetic sad face. Like, please come help us. Nobody cared about this tattoo. LeBron is like, hey, y'all, check out my new tat. People like, when you coming back? It was not, nobody cared at all. That was hilarious. And that's a good question, though. Like, we keep saying every time we have a game from the Lakers, it's okay. You know, AD is in recovery. He's coming back slowly. He's slowly getting his feet back under him. LeBron James will be back soon. Can I get a time frame? I'm tired of hearing soon because we're slipping in the rain. You know, I just need a day. It can be a far out day, but I need a day. This is starting to hurt my head.
I know. I hate it when this happens because it's like, oh, he'll be back in 6 weeks or whatever it is. And then 6 weeks rolls around and then it's just soon from there on out. So what can we expect? It's painful.
I don't know. It's very painful. So that's all I got for the post up though. So now we're going to get into this one, which is our what we not going to do. And this one is a lesson. This is a lesson that I learned very, very early on after my very first job in fast food. I learned that it is just a business. And as an employee of that business, you have to do what is best for you. Part of doing what is best for you is not believing the hype. Because the thing is with any company that you go to, this isn't just an NFL thing. You're the guy today. You're not the guy tomorrow. That's just how business works. You know, so you need to always make sure you're looking out for yourself. Because don't forget, you're supposed to give a 2 weeks notice. They can come in with a box and tell you to get out. So it's not, you know, they are always going to do what's best for them as a company. And like I said, the NFL is no different. And because it's a business, I think people sometimes forget that. It is a business for the team. It is a business for the network. It is a business for advertisers. The NFL is how advertisers see it as a way to get information out to the consumers. Owners see it as a way to get money. And the media sees it as a way to get views on their network. It is a business. Please don't ever forget that it's a business, because I think when people forget that, that's when we get statements like, oh, you know, they're backstabbing, they're doing this, that, and the third. Yes, they are. That's what happens in business. Every business is the same. At some point, if they feel they can elevate themselves on a business level, they will stab you in the back. That's the lesson for today, kids. But now here, let's relate this back to football, because like I said earlier, we're going to talk about this in what we're not going to do. So last month, Andy Dalton was on a video conference. He was talking with reporters, and he had just signed that $10 million contract with Chicago. And he said the reason why he did that was because Chicago told him, you are our guy. You are our quarterback. You're the one we are going with. And he said, quote, he said, they told me I was the starter. That was one of the reasons why I wanted to come here. So every conversation I've had has been that. So that's the assurance that I have gotten. So that's where it kind of gets like, ooh, this is rough, because that's the assurance they gave him. They said, you are our guy. And they said it publicly too. They posted this to their Twitter, which basically said, you know, he's our quarterback, QB1. He is our number one quarterback. This is our guy. This is who we rocking with. And that was on March. I think the dates is what's kind of funny to me, because that was on March 24th. This is what they posted last night. You know, welcome to the Chicago Bears, Justin Fields. You know, they didn't say that he's the number one, but the fact of the matter is this is very much the situation, not very much, but similar to the situation that we saw with Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay last season. They drafted a quarterback. Now, that's a little different because Aaron Rodgers is exponentially better than Andy Dalton, but it's still the same feeling. You told me I was the guy. You told me we were going to build together, and then you go out and get Justin Fields. And Justin Fields isn't one of those quarterbacks that you just get just because you need somebody on your bench. Justin Fields is the quarterback that you get. Every quarterback that went in the first round is the quarterback that you get when you're trying to build that franchise around them so they can take that starting role. So obviously, this is, you know, a knife to the heart for poor little Andy Dalton. I feel a little bit bad for him, but because the way they did it was shady as well, because they moved up in the draft. So they didn't even get him on their regular turn. They moved up in the draft, and they gave their number 20 pick this year and their first round pick next year and 2 other picks just to get Justin Fields. You do not do that if you have no intentions for this young man to be your franchise quarterback. But here's the thing. I saw this all over social media, and I saw a lot of blogs written about it. And they said, you know, Andy Dalton, the Bears stabbed him in the back. They did the wrong thing. That's incorrect. That is not accurate, because also what a team does when they are ready to build around you is they contractually commit to you. They say, hey, you're our guy. We're going to put you under contract because we believe in you, and we're going to get you a long-term contract, 3-4 years. You know, if you're Dak, 5 years. You know, they commit to you. The Bears signed a 1-year, $10 million contract. I don't care what they said. I don't care if they said, oh, you're our guy, you're our quarterback. The fact that they only signed you to a 1-year deal should have let you know, whether they said it or not, should have let you know that you're our quarterback right now. That's what a 1-year deal says. You're our quarterback, comma, right now, period. So no, there is no stabbing in the back, because if the Bears really liked him, if they really wanted to build around him, they would have signed him to a long-term contract. This is not a stabbing in the back. This is business. So what we not gonna do, kids, is forget that this is a business, and you are expendable if you no longer benefit the business. So no, this isn't a stabbing in the back. This is a contractual, yes, we told you so. We told you are quarterback right now, and that was for 1 year. Enjoy this year, Andy. And that's all we got for what we not gonna do.
It's fan or foe.
All right, you guys, Fan or Foe Friday. So we have pulled your comments, questions, messages from our chat and from the comment section in our live show from the week, and we're going to respond to everything that you had to say. I know we've got some coming up from our good guy, Stay Mad, but you know what I've noticed? Stay Mad hasn't been in the show yesterday or today. Maybe he really is staying mad. Maybe he is not going to...
I thought he was in there yesterday.
I don't think so. Maybe he was.
Oh, okay. Well, I haven't seen Mark Law today. And, you know, Mark Law is his arch nemesis that is crazy mad. So, you know, we got Stay Mad and Crazy Mad. And I haven't seen Mark Law today. So perhaps it's Good Friday. I'm sorry. That was...
Yeah, later, Mark Law. Anyway, let's get into the first one. Leo, can you throw it up there for us? I got to move my little bar out of the way here. Sorry, 1 second. Okay. Mara says, I love you guys. Y'all crack me up. I'm pretend high-fiving y'all over here. Mara, we love you too. Here's the high fives just for you. Definitely a contender for Fan of the Week if you ask me. So let's remember that, Mara. Let's get to the next one, Leo. Frank, Frank, thank you so much. He says, we need the old hosts back. This is like watching CNN now. Frank, you're so sweet. I'm just curious, which old host are you talking about? Because Jackie and I have been on the channel for like 3 years. So, you talking about 5 years ago or what?
I don't know who he's talking about. I have an idea who he's talking about. But, you know, CNN is one of the most watched networks on television. So I'm going to take this as a compliment. I know you meant it as a shade, but, you know, thank you, Frank. It was so sweet.
We love you. Okay, Caleb Bergenson asks, what do you guys think if LaMelo Ball was on the Warriors? Well, the first thing that I'd like to say is that LaMelo would not have had the same opportunity to shine that he's had on the Hornets. I don't think that he would have been given the ability to kind of perform as much or as well as he has. What do you think?
Yeah, I said it before and I'll say it again. You just don't have a LaMelo Ball on your team if you're the Warriors unless you're saying you're ready to move on from Steph. And that's not something that they're ready to do. So that wouldn't have made sense at all. So he's where he's supposed to be and doing what he's supposed to do over there. So, yeah, definitely the Warriors was not going to be the look for him.
Yeah, I think LaMelo did end up in the perfect place. This is it, says Devin. I agree with you about this. Floyd could lose, and why risk his reputation for this dumb fight? I mean, we both agree with this statement. I think the chances of him losing are obviously pretty slim, but if he does lose, there goes that 50-0 record, because now people are just going to remember him as Floyd Mayweather, the guy that lost to a YouTuber. Nobody's going to care about the 50-0 record.
I was watching guys talk about this on YouTube, and they said exactly what I said. They said there's no way he should win, but here's the thing: Floyd being in boxing shape is different than being in shape. And are we for sure that Floyd Money has been out there boxing and he's ready? Because either way, you should prepare like it's a real fight, so you can go out there and beat him like it's a real fight, and so you can show him that this isn't something he's supposed to be doing. But if he's just like, I'm Floyd Money and I'm gonna go in there and he's not boxing ready, this is going to be a bad look. He better not lose, but I don't know. I wouldn't risk it.
I wouldn't risk it either. I don't think it's worth it. Kevin Pryor says Floyd never fought anyone after De La Hoya that was a threat to him. Mayweather is a businessman and sees a financial win here.
I definitely disagree with that because De La Hoya is good, but I definitely think he's fought some real fighters. I can't name them all off the top of my head, but I've watched every single one, of Floyd's fights. And yeah, he's fought some real boxers. I don't want to discredit anyone who's worked their whole entire career to get to the point where they could even fight Floyd money and then say they're not anyone. I don't think that's fair. And again, if it's $100 million, I get it. I don't think that Floyd is at the point in his life where he needs even $100 million. But I guess if you have $300 million, it'd be better to have 4. So I get it. But I just don't know. I don't know if I'd risk my name for the money. But yeah, I get it.
Me either. Okay, Stay Mad says, but when Curry makes a super team, oh my gosh, he's a bum. He can't lead a team. Keep that same energy with LeBum, Jackie. We literally have never called Steph a bum. This is what gets me so angry about Jeremiah Smith. But Jackie, handing it to you on this one.
First of all, it is LeBron James. You know, if you can't say King, if you can't say it properly, and you can't say LeBron, King, GOAT, James, at least say what's on his birth certificate. It is LeBron James. And second of all, we didn't say nothing about Steph making a super team. Let me clarify what we said. What we said was this was Curry's moment to prove that he could carry a team, and that he's realizing how, because LeBron James has carried the Cavs several times, and to carry a team is it's very, very hard. And no one's saying that it's bad that Curry, because it's a team sport. But we said this was his moment to shine, to prove that he could carry a team, and that's all we said. So. Ooh, Jeremiah. Like I said, it's Good Friday because I ain't.
We're not the only ones that feel that way too. That's like the common belief among, sports fans and Warriors, or maybe not Warriors fans, but sports fans in general, NBA fans. Like, that's the common belief here. This was his opportunity to show if he can carry a team. Steph doesn't necessarily have to carry a team to secure his legacy. His legacy is already great. He comes and he does what he does, and he's wildly impressive. He's changed the way basketball was played. That doesn't mean he also has to be the one to carry a team, and that's okay. He can have the support of other talented people on his roster. It doesn't need to be just him. But he's not a bum, and neither is LeBron, so you need to correct yourself. Check yourself. Let's get into the next one. Henry Vera says, CP3 out here showing people he ain't washed up like a lot of people think. Yeah, we absolutely agree with that one.
Who thought he was washed up, though? Who thought he was washed up? I've never heard people say CP3 was washed up. I've heard them say he's getting older, but that man has never played like he's washed up. Who said that? I want to know.
I don't know who is saying that, but I do think that people, I don't know. I'm not sure actually about that one. Let's talk about JD. Okay, he says, what? Jackie Ray, CP3 talks his ish all the time. He isn't quiet. Stop it. He is probably the loudest player in the league behind Embiid, but I get your point. CP3 is the point god, haha. So this is when you said he was like the silent assassin.
That's correct, because he doesn't, when I say he's not the guy that's in your face, he's not the guy that you constantly see. The most we see him is on them State Farm commercials. You know what I mean? But we don't constantly see him on social media. We don't constantly see him on getting these post-game interviews where he's saying stuff. He's not the go-to guy. That's what I mean. So no, he's not. Now, he talk to his team? Of course, but he's still not even the over-the-top guy like Joel Embiid is. That's not accurate, but okay, I appreciate you.
Kevin L. Lang says, Paul George is dramatic for no reason. I don't know. I don't love the dramatic narrative surrounding Paul George, just because I do sympathize with what he went through with his mental health, and I think a lot of people are take dramatic away from that, like from his time in the bubble, but he is a little dramatic.
I was gonna say he's very dramatic. Don't let the mental health fool you. That man was born in drama club. He came out like what is my motivation? He's drama personified.
I know. I just feel a little sorry for him sometimes. Let's get into the next one. Wordplay from the Mind says, Jackie Ray, you look a little tired in this clip, but you have this humble yet very sexy quality about you that is cool as the breeze, sister. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks.
it's funny that it starts off as you being tired. Oh my God, I'm dying.
I might have been. Shoot, if it was Monday, was this on Monday? I might have been. I don't know.
Yeah, I think both of us have been kind of tired all week. But I agree with you. She is as cool as breeze and beautiful and confident. So I'm with you on that one. Definitely a contender for fan of the week. Zen Master says only the participation trophy generation thinks LeBron's the GOAT. Jackie, take it away with this one.
The participation trophy thinks LeBron. Okay, first of all, that is crazy to me because the participation trophy doesn't have to go out there and carry a team on their own. They just get the trophy regardless. Danny Green gets a participation trophy just because he was on the team. He's gotten several rings just because he was on the team. I'll give him a little bit more credit when he was with the Spurs, though. I will. But you tripping. This is what Zen Master is, a Zen hater, because you really have to, and whether you like LeBron or not, because I get it. There's plenty of people in the NBA that I don't actually really like, but you really have to either A, just have deep-seated hate, or B, not really understand basketball if you really just think that LeBron James is not defying physics in everything that he does. So I don't know which one you fall in. If you hear in the chat, you can let me know. Are you Group A or are you Group B? Let me know.
Okay, Leo, let's see the next one. Get you a drink, Jackie. I think we both need a drink at this point. I'm down for a margarita right now. Well, that was the last one, you guys. Great show today. We love having you in the chat. We are going to be back again on Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time as usual, so tap the bell and subscribe so you know when to tune in. We also have content coming through the weekend that you can tune in and check out. Jackie, I think you have a bit of an exciting update for us.
Yes, I'm doing the draft kind of recap that's coming out, and we have a new show called Challenge Accepted that is coming out very soon. You guys are going to be seeing the trailer for that. I am so excited. I've been trying to pitch that show forever. Finally got picked up. It's going to be a new show. It's probably going to come out on Mondays, I think. Don't quote me on that, but I think it is Mondays, but we're going to give you more details, and you guys will be seeing the trailer very, very soon. It's called Challenge Accepted, and listen, there's going to be a fan challenge in there. So you should make sure you follow me at JAYLEN the Fanatic. Make sure you're following the Fumble at the Fumble Sports on Instagram, because for our first show, the only way to get you the fan challenge is to kind of do it via social media. So make sure you check it out. I'll probably talk about it here on what our first fan challenge is going to be, and we'll get some comments from you as well. So get involved. It's going to be fantastic. I am so excited. So make sure you stay tuned.
You guys, this has been a long time coming for Jackie. I am so very long time coming. So we are super excited for this to finally be out. So make sure you follow Jackie on Instagram. Like she said, JAYLEN the Fanatic, if you want to be part of that fan challenge. And that trailer will be coming out next week. So keep an eye out for that. And on that note, let's wrap up the show, you guys. So we'll be back on Monday. Have a great weekend. Subscribe, tap the bell, leave a comment below, hit that thumbs up, and we'll see you guys later. Bye, everybody.
Take a shot if you're old enough.
Yes, take a shot.